friends, welcome back. Today we are talking about solving absolute value equations, but with special circumstances. So let's take a look at this guy right here. Let's back up. Remember, absolute value is how far away something is from zero. So the absolute value of 3, that's going to be positive 3 because it's 3 spots away. The absolute value of negative 3 is also going to be positive 3. Now, that means if I have the absolute value of x equals 3, I have two answers here. I can put in x can equal both 3 and negative 3. Trick question time. If I have the absolute value of x equals negative 3, is there anything that I can put into that absolute value to give me a negative? Absolutely not. And that's because absolute value is absolutely positive. So this is a no solution. This is a no solution. This one does not work. And I want you to keep that in mind as you're solving these equations. If you take a look here, we've isolated our absolute value. And once you've done that, if this guy is negative, it's not going to work. And let's just show you how. If I remember, absolute value means that I have two equations. I've got the first one written as it is, minus 9x equals negative 4. And then the other one I do with a negative. So a negative 4 is going to be a positive 4. 9x equals positive 4. If I were to solve these equations, I get negative 9x equals negative 12. Divide by negative 9, divide by negative 9. X equals, the negative divided by negative is a positive. And if I divide both those by 3, I get 4 over 3. 4 over 3. Now on this side, if I minus 8 and minus 8, I end up with negative 9x equals negative 4. Divide by negative 9, divide by negative 9, I get x equals negative 4 over 9. Okay, so here's what we have. We have two solutions, 4 over 3, and we have negative 4 over 9. You'll see that if we write this equation down, let me go ahead and copy this back down, 8 minus 9x, absolute value of 8 minus 9x equals negative 4. I'm going to start with that 4/3. So if I have 8 minus 9 over 1, since I'm dealing with a fraction, I'll make it a fraction, times 4 over 3 equals negative 4. All right, so we can cross cancel. Divide by 3, we get 1. Divide by 3, we get 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So I get 8 minus 12 equals negative 4. Absolute value of negative 4 equals negative 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is positive 4. So it does not equal. This does not work. The same situation for negative 4 over 9. We would have 8 minus 9 over 1 times negative 4 over 9 equals negative 4. Okay, so then we have the absolute value of 8, and a negative times a negative would be a positive, so plus. Cancel out these 9s, I can cross cancel those, plus 4 equals negative 4. I end up with 12 equal, oh, and that's because that's my fault. Actually, back up here, negative divided by negative is a positive. Sorry about that. So this should be a positive right here. My apologies. So if that's a positive, we have 8 minus negative 4, or minus, I just made the same mistake, 8 minus 4. Oh, it's one of those days, guys. 8 minus 4 equals negative 4, and I just almost wrote a 7. All right, 8 minus 4 is 4. The absolute value of 4 is negative 4. That is not true because the absolute value of 4 is 4. And so since this does not work, this is also not a solution. So once you have your absolute value isolated, if there's a negative on this side, it's not going to work. No solution. Okay, let's take a look here. And this equals 0. So we draw our arrows out and we say, okay, well, we've got 3 plus 10a equals 0. And then what we would do is 3 plus 10a equals negative 0. Except negative 0 is the same thing as positive 0, right? 0 is neither negative nor positive. So we're going to get the same answer. So we can just cross this guy off and say, all right, let's minus 3 from both sides. We get 10a equals negative 3. Divide both sides by 10. We get a equals negative 3 over 10. So there's our one solution that we get. Now let's go ahead and plug that back in just to double check. Absolute value of 3 plus, and it's 10 times a. Since I'm dealing with a fraction, I'm going to go ahead and turn 10 into a fraction over 1 times negative 3 over 10. I won't mess up my negatives this time. Equals 0. Okay, let's cross cancel. Get rid of that 10. 10, bam. So now what I have is 3 plus negative 3 equals 0. 3 plus negative 3 is in fact 0, and the absolute value of 0 is 0 because 0 is 0 spots away from 0. So these are our two special circumstances. You got to really watch for that negative number once you've isolated your absolute value. And you've got to, if you set it equal to 0, you're going to only have one answer. Or if it's set equal to 0, you're only going to have one answer. If you have questions, let me know or let your teacher know, and we will see you next time.